listening. I'm listening for all types of free stuff and hearing about tickets being given away. No, that was great. I really commend her for reaching out to the community. It just don't happen often enough.
That's right.
Thank you.
And to hear him talk about trying to save the community through health, that's big too. I mean, I grew up in a family where they fed us too, but mom made sure we eat right. And my mom now, it's funny we were talking about like processed foods and all that. Like she don't play with microwaves. And microwaves is one of those things we don't know the long-term effects of. And sure enough, like we had so many cancers, you got to link it to something, right? But my mom's quick to throw a meal back on the stove, reheat it,
Right.
and add some
We don't
things
know how
to
many
it.
cancers we have running around in our bodies.
Right.
Absolutely.
And men, we don't go to the doctor.
No, we don't go to the doctor until we fall.
We
Like,
call
what
ourselves
was that?
Superman, and then all of a sudden, kryptonite hit us.
Right. Yeah, I hear that. So, it's just really good to hear all this positivity. Excuse me. I met Q a couple weeks ago at a screening of his movie, and I was just moved.
Yeah.
Did
you see me in it?
No, I was.
You ain't seen the movie.
Yeah, Dave was in it too.
He was in there?
Yes.
Oh, did I see him in the movie?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant at the movie.
No,
I was
Dave
focused. No, okay. But I stayed around to the end. He had a lot of people running up on him, trying to get his attention. I said, I'm gonna wait this out.
Yeah.
Plus, I knew I already had a ticket on my car, so I said, I just do whatever.
You got 24 hours now.
Yeah, I'll wait around. So, I met up with him, and he told me about the show, and I went online and looked it up, and then I turned on in the car on the AM and the FM. My radio a little older, so you know what I did. But I
still got that 8-track in your car?
I hope I still got a car. I'm parked out here, so we'll see what happens. But it was just, it was incredible to hear his story and for him to share that with people. I recommend, if you ain't see that, Get Out, actually, and I looked it up when I was sitting back there. I don't know who was hating, but now they had 99%.
I haven't even seen it yet.
That's reality. Like Rotten Tomatoes got them at 99%. So right now you one of only
That's
a few.
right.
Yeah,
That's
got
100%. Somebody heard that you was battling. Gave them a tomato real quick. So,
yeah, just to keep him up there.
Yeah, just to keep you there. So that's tight.
So where you performing at? What kind of performing do you do?
I'm a little bit everywhere. I was just telling how me and her were having a conversation. I went to school with Kev Hart. Like I went to Washington High. Neither one of us were students. We were at the school. We were enrolled.
Right.
You know how that goes. So
okay.
we was there. We was at Washington. I graduated the year before Kev, and we used to go down and support him at the Laugh House and stuff. And something else I was just telling her, I said, I was a class clown, but class clown and comedian are two different things. Class clown is the drunk uncle. Like in order to get on stage, you need presence and you need control. You need audience. Mood. You got to work a room.
Right.
You got to be a public speaker. So it just over time, sitting back and watching stuff. And I used to love comedy. I grew up, that Eddie Murphy Raw era. When it was on videotape.
Absolutely.
Showing my age.
That's long.
Yeah, come on, yo. Touch the mic off. No, but it was crazy. It was like I used to watch comedy, and then I remember I had like a 9 to 5 where I used to write notes down all the time, and I didn't know why. I was just writing funny stuff down, and it was so crazy. My mom used to do that. My mom's really funny too, so I would go in the room, at night, and I'd see her. She's sitting at the table, and it's just a bunch of stuff jotted down, and I'm like, why is she writing this stuff? But it's funny, and I look at it and throw it away because I'm a kid. Like I ain't supposed to be reading this stuff, but I started doing it, and it kind of became one of them things where I did it enough. And I heard y'all mention the Clef Club.
Yeah.
So I had a job. I was working for American Signature Furniture. And they're going there. That's why I brought them up. I can bring up stuff. You know why I get free advertisement. I was working for American Signature Furniture. This guy comes in. He's like, "Man, you're a personality, man. I got something for you. I want you to host something." I said, "No, I don't know you." And this was back in 2009. He was like, "Can you I got this this thing. I'm a singer and I'm a gospel singer, but I'm transitioning to R&B, and I want you to MC this showcase for me, and I'm gonna close it out, and I got about 10 different acts." So he said, "I know you can do it. I know you can do it." I'm like, "All right, man, no." I'm still on this no thing. But then he bought some furniture, and I'm like, "All right, he helping me." So I said, I'm gonna see what this dude talking about, and then I said, "Well, what am I going to talk about?" Like I've never done a stage before, so. I get down there, this is after about 2 weeks of just writing different things down. I had all kinds of stuff written. He comes up to me like 5 minutes before I go on stage, he's like, "Listen, man, don't cuss." I said, "Okay." I threw all that stuff away. I threw everything away, and I said, let me just go up here and be me, and it was so crazy. I had all these butterflies, and these are butterflies that anybody who speaks or does things in front of audiences, you're gonna have them. I don't care what level you on, you still gonna have these butterflies.
Mild panic attack.
Yeah, you have it, and I'm telling you, the second you touch the mic, it's gone. It
Yeah.
just leaves you. It leaves you.
It's funny you say that because I used to tell everybody, they say, you have some really good shows. I said, well, I'm not responsible for any of this. I said, I sit in the chair, flip the switch, open my mouth, and God comes out.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
So and I try to tell my children and grandchildren, when you are performing, it's like a spirit comes over and takes over you.
Yeah.
You're not even in charge no
It's
more.
not you. It's not you. It's you, the people and things that you'll never know about. It's just pulling these words out of you. So I went into this bit. I did Katrina jokes, Michael Jackson, all this stuff. Came down. I just opened up. I did 10 minutes. I came down after introducing the first act. I probably got their name wrong because I was nervous. Threw whoever up there, and I'm like just shaking. I go upstairs. The Clef Club it's like stadium seating, but it's like everything comes down, is looking at you. So you got all these faces looking at you on the stage, and I'm looking up, because it goes upward, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. So I get on the elevator, go up, and I'm up there shaking. This guy was in the elevator. He said, dude, you were good. You gonna be somebody. And I'm like, I thought I was a furniture salesman. I thought I was somebody, but we was, he hit me with that. So I'm walking around. The guy who put this thing together, his name is Terrell Guy. He's a musician. He comes up to me. He said, guess who's here? And I said, who's here? He said, it's a friend of mine. He's in the jazz and all that stuff. It's Will Smith's dad. I said, oh, really? I said, where's he at? He said, the guy right there. I said, I just talked to him in the elevator. So we took a picture. I threw it up on my Facebook page. It's on there back in 2009. It seems so far from now, but anyway, so that was my first time.
You said Will Smith's dad.
His dad was in attendance. He's big in the jazz.
Yeah, he's been here in the studio with us.
Oh, okay.
He had a group with Alfie Pollard called Philly Through My Ears.
Right.
That was the album they produced.
Okay. Yeah, he was a real. I mean, he was so.
In fact, Alfie Pollard's brother passed recently. I want to send my condolences to Alfie Pollard and his family.
Right. Man.
So you performing at the Clef Club, and you say, I can do this.
Yeah, but then you're like, okay, how do I get started?
Yeah.
See, I knew
How do I get paid?
Yeah, that's the big thing, how you get paid. So fast forward, a few years later, and then you have different things that you got to think about. It's like, do I just jump into this? Like, I'm a furniture salesman, but I had a retail management background. I'm like, all right, so I know how to talk to people, I know how to work with people. I've had all that. I use that to pull me onto that stage that time. So a few years later, I'm like Facebooking, like when Facebook got big and all that, and I'm just putting all these little silly videos out and all this stuff, just stuff I'm doing in my house. This guy was like, yo, you should come down to an open mic at Mill Creek Tavern. So I'm like, all right, I'm try it out. And there's a comedian there, Denny Live, who's he's pretty big in the Philadelphia comedy circuit, and he was like, I'm gonna give you all these tips, and you need to do this and do that. And I told people I was gonna be down there, so good, like 30 people came out. You know how it is, your first time, you're gonna get the world. It was people I ain't seen since that night was down there that night. And I did good. And the next week they put me on a flyer. So I'm like, I'm on a flyer in week 2. This is easy.
Right.
Oh man, where's these checks at? Yeah. So not realizing, it's a grind. It's a grind. It's something that you gotta sacrifice to really get the most out of it. I went through periods like, back in 2009, my son was 2 years old. So it's like, all right, how do I balance the whole thing of being dad and all that? But I really like this comedy thing. I really love it because I've always been a fan of it. So now it's like I'm seeing it from the other side, and the things that come with it are just, it's great. It's great to leave a stage and get that. Yeah. So,
but it's expensive too. A lot of people think that, performers get paid, but it costs to perform.
Yeah, it costs.
And I perform when I do photography.
Right.
I got paid a lot, but I was always going out and buy me a new outfit just to go
Right.
to work.
Right.
And it costs money.
Yeah, I just started showing up dirty. Look, welcome to McDonald's. Like, I'm here to tell these jokes. Don't even look at my clothes right now. But no, and you're right about that. And now I'm entering that point, where it's like you spend, because you go through your life balances and all that stuff. And one thing that's been happening for me, and the reason I'm able to do a lot more in comedy, you give yourself. I had a situation.
What about management?
Management over there in the corner. LV is the manager. 2 Libras Entertainment. She really has done a lot for me. So fast forward, 2006. I was living on the outskirts of the city. I was in a relationship. You know, men, we fall in love so hard that we forget we're human. And I had to dig back into the comedy realms. And I said, you know what? I'm moving back into the city, and I'm gonna go 100% with this. I drove past Germantown Avenue. What's the spot called? La Rose Jazz Club.
Oh, yeah.
Drove past there
yeah.
one night. I seen was like people out there. I said, man, it'd probably be nice to do a comedy show in there. So I said, I want to go in there. I'm gonna go talk to whoever can give me some information. And I ran into Dr. LaRose, the owner of the jazz club, and he had the little accent. He said, if you think that you can be funny, come back on Monday and we can talk. So I said, all right, Mr. Rose, I'll be back. I'll talk to you. And then there was this guy there. He was like the manager or whatever. So I realized Dr. LaRose didn't do a lot of talking. So this guy set it up, and he was like, what do you want? What you want to do? I said, well, I drove by here Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There was nobody here. So obviously, like, y'all need things going on here. So I used that as a bargaining chip.
Right.
Like, y'all kind of need me. So I said, I'll come 4th of July weekend. I'm going to promote a show, and I'm going to, I want to get my own show going. And we did that weekend. It was a great show. I had a lot of like friends from high school, college, all that come out. We packed it out, and from then on, it's just been giving myself to it. So,
well, can you give us a little sample
a sample of what?
of some of your routine? You have a routine, or you just
I got a routine.
You do freestyle.
I got a routine, but I do freestyle. I try to stay current with stuff. When I walked in the door, we talked about politics, but I'm a television person, but I grab things from it and I'm done. Like,
what do you think about their President Trump?
It's nothing to think about. It's
no brainer.
Again, it's like I'm still shocked that it got this far.
I am too. I said, why is he still there?
Man, look, I tell people this all the time. My block captain is my president. Like, that's how I look at it. If you tell me where to park and where to put my recycling bucket, we good. I listen to them people.
Yeah, my wife is my president.
You said your wife? Okay, he's smart. He's smart. It's so crazy. Like, you were just talking about giving yourself. Like, I've taken trips. She set me up with a trip in New York last year at the Broadway Comedy Club. I went in. There was a guy from Saturday Night Live. He's not a name guy. He's probably a writer. And he was the headliner for the night. So he came up to the promoter in the middle of the show and said, I got to get out of here. And she was like, okay, so what do you want me to do? He was like, cut my time in half, give it to somebody else. I said, I'll take it. She said, are you sure you're going to close the show? I said, I'll close the show out. I went up, did 15 minutes, killed. I said, listen, I'll come back. She said, are you sure? I said, I'll come back and I'll bring people with me. And in October of last year, we took a bus, 40-something people up on a school bus to Greenwich Comedy Club. And, that was in the Greenwich Village is like the district where all the comedy, the comedy cellar and all them spots are. And we took people up, had another great show, and now I got a regular show up in New York.
Wow.
Congrats.
When is that?
That's amazing.
April 15th.
April 15th starts the 8 at 8. It's a showcase that I do in New York City. So
Dope.
I have that. I do something. This is crazy because I just showed her something on my phone. Last night, Kev Hart was in Portland, Maine. A few years ago, I went out to Portland, Maine. It was probably 4 years ago, and I met this guy. And I met him through social media. He was like, yo, I heard about you. I heard you pretty good in the comedy world. How about you come out here and do some stuff for me? Like, I ain't got a lot of money. I'm sleeping on my couch. And I'm like, Portland, Maine, though. So I get up there, there's not a lot of people like me up there. And he a half-breed, so I'm like, dude, you don't have to stand in front when we walk. Like, wherever we go, I need you. I'm not leading. I'm not opening no doors. Like, you tell me where to go. So it was crazy. He had a room that's probably about 15 people in it. And I had 2 guys I brought with me who did it for free. I said, I'm going to drive us up, see what happens. Let's just make it happen. And fast forward, now I did the Portland House of Music. I did a couple other spots up there, and now I have a show called Philly to Maine where I take comics from Philly to Portland. Usually about 100, 150 people at these shows.
Wow.
And these are comics that just never would get that type of exposure.
Yeah.
Like Portland, Maine. It's crazy. The only person that's like known up there, Stephen King. Like, he's the name that they throw out there. He's from Portland, Maine. But we just looked, Kev Hart and the Plastic Cup Boys were in Portland, Maine last night. And it's so crazy because it's like, Portland, Maine. And I'm like, no. Like, now that's like a second home. I've been up there 6 times now, but I have a quarterly show I do up there now. So
if you had to choose between Bernie Mac, Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor, and Chris Rock, who do you think would be your tops?
I'm an Eddie dude. I'm Eddie because
Eddie Murphy.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I'm
Eddie was like the Michael Jordan of it. You know,
Nah,
it's like
I don't think so.
And when I say that, I mean the things that come with it, the
Yeah,
commercial.
he made the movies.
No, and I'm not just talking. Right, see, that's what it is. And when I say that, like, 'cause some people say, you know what, Jordan is great, but if you look at the dynamics of LeBron, the things that LeBron has, his skill set. He do a lot of things better than Michael Jordan, but Jordan had that aura about him. He was Michael Jordan. You know, you losing right from the door. Like, and LeBron don't have certain things that Jordan has. You know, from that thing, whatever it is, him and Kobe have. Now LeBron is marketable, but I mean on the court, like his skills, he has that thing, but he don't have that level of air that Michael had. Now, that's not a play on words. Like, it's just an aura that Michael carried about him. You was scared of Mike.
Michael said,
I'm not scared of LeBron. Like, yeah,
Right.
I mean, I can't beat LeBron, but I mean,
We understand.
You see what I'm saying?
It's the attitude
Okay,
that they
so-
carry
and see,
that
I
makes
feel like,
them,
I felt like Eddie just always, like, even Eddie now, he got like one-liners when you see him, and it's just like he
I like this
himself
brother Charlie Burton.
You like
Oh,
Charlie?
Yeah, especially when he was with Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. See, but I'm a
Hilarious.
Chappelle. I love Chappelle.
Me too.
I love Chappelle is just so smart, man. And I that was another thing about me. I went to Portland, Maine, and I made an impact up there in front of people that didn't look like me because I can be these things without changing who I am because they want to laugh at this too. They want to know how we live and how we operate, what our opinions are on things, and it's like I can go up there and be myself and still command their attention and still get the laugh. So it's comedy is a crazy thing, and I never want to be in a box. So I really like the fact that I'm able to go and do these things. And
What
then
was your biggest? Did you ever have a show like that that turned out to be a dud or a disappointment to you?
yeah, every 2 weeks. No, sometimes you go places and it's just like it's not what you thought it was gonna be. So I got a call to do a birthday party about 3 weeks ago in Audubon, New Jersey. So we get over there. It's this nice, look like a sports bar downstairs. We get upstairs. I'm seeing all these tables. All these people start coming in. I'm like, all right. I said, what is this? I'm seeing like, and the people are a little older. I'm like, all right, there's a couple cougars in there. So I'm like, looking, watching. Some of them was Thundercats. They was really old, but they started walking. They come to the look. They start
Thundercats. I ain't never heard
they
that.
start coming to the table, sitting down, and I'm like, yo, whose birthday is it? They said, oh, she coming up. This lady got out the elevator. She was 80. She was turning 80. And I was like, okay.
So what you tell us some Civil War jokes?
No, I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm gonna tell you what happened. We didn't get to do nothing. We, as comedians, we didn't do nothing. We stood in front of the floor. She sat behind us in a chair, and people took pictures. They talked. They ate everything while we performed. They never looked at us. They never looked. And then when you got done, you were pretty good. I said, was I? Was I good?
Can I tell?
I can't. But it's just certain situations where comedy.
But wait a minute, I ain't heard you say nothing funny all night. Now I've been in there. I've been funnier than you.
This is funny.
What do you
Let's
say?
take them
I must have been asleep.
This is big. We have to play this back. Play this little
I must
thing
have been
back.
asleep.
All right, so I gotta I guess I'll plug this real quick. Every last Saturday of the month, I have something here. So, because I mean, as much as I like getting out and doing things in different places, and that's great. So, like, you got something in Maine, you got something in New York now. I have the Urban Art Gallery in West Philly.
Yeah.
That's a black-owned art gallery.
Oh,
Every
thank you,
last
sir.
Saturday of the month, I do a show there. And everybody in the room, I'm going to throw some tickets to y'all.
Hey,
Hey.
my birthday.
Yeah, look, they birthday
Hey.
present. They birthday
Now
present.
he laughing.
Yeah,
Look,
that's
you
funny.
are the funniest. Mel Chappelle? Is that Mel Chappelle?
He is pretty good.
He's not as bad as he was 5 minutes ago. No, but I definitely, I mean, I can't give y'all movie tickets, but I can give y'all tickets to that, so I'll get all
I'm
that
coming.
information.
I'll take care
And
of
I'll shoot
that.
y'all
I'm
stuff. All
coming.
right, she take care of that.
Yeah.
And I heard he ain't see Black Panther yet.
Yeah, we're gonna have to revoke his
Well, he
black card.
filed for an extension. Filed for an extension.
I did. I put in my W-9 the other day.
That's crazy, but I have that going on, and then
When
I do
is that?
something
Every
last Saturday of the month.
Every last
at
Saturday.
the Urban Art Gallery, and then I have the Reef down on Second and
Yeah.
South. I do something called Spitfire, which was turned over to me. That's been running almost a decade,
No, that's
and
awesome.
it's comedians, it's poets, it's singers, it's spoken word, all kinds of stuff. And I do that now. Me and another guy host that. That got turned over to us back in December, and we're going to continue it. And it's just a format, a platform for artists to come down and show their skills. So that's
Great.
every first Thursday of the month at the Reef down at Second and South. And their food is
I was
crazy.
just about
Third
to
and
say that
South.
food
Yeah,
is so
Their food is
good.
good.
Yeah, I had dinner down there with Luciana. couple of years. Yeah, he's a legendary reggae artist.
Okay.
Okay. But now, so you have a schedule of events on your website?
Yes. The www.themelharrisexperience.com.
The Mel Harris Experience.
TheMelHarrisExperience.com. We post like all the flyers and things up there, and then I'm on Facebook at Mel Harris and Instagram at Comedian Mel Harris.
All right, now, before we run out of time, Chef Chris, I've been you an IT guy. Have you gotten any feedback tonight on your comments on the show, or what are people saying about it?
So a lot of my Facebook fans, I call my fan because a lot of them are looking to live a little bit healthy. I've said it. Become the change you want to see. You can reach me at www.chefchristoff.com.
Spell that for people.
Matter of fact, I'll put my number out there.
Spell that for people.
Okay, Christoph is Kristov as in Victor. You can reach me at 215-756-2463. I like to go to bed before 9, so don't call me after 9.
I know that's right.
Sleep.
Yes.
You know, the sleep is very important.
All right, so Naima?
So it's Naima, Niema, the producer. And, you know, I just encourage people to keep spreading the love, man. You know, let's prove people that are not here in Philadelphia, we do have good people here to spread that brotherly love. I mean, I know I do.
Yeah.
And I know I can't save the world, but if it starts with me just being kind to someone, you know, it will encourage someone else to continue that. But I just say, you know, do your best and God will do the rest.
All right.
I don't have nothing clever to say. I took everything I was going to say. That's cool.
Lies.
No, but real quick, you talked about stress. That was one of the biggest things I said back there. I was able to take that in. That's why I threw all my bills away. I'd rather be in the dark feeling good about myself than no. But thank you, man. I just want to say thank y'all for having me, man. The name Mel Harris. I got tickets for all y'all. Where you at though?
I'm here in Philly, man.
You're in Philly? Oh, well, I got tickets for everybody here.
You get a ticket. You get a ticket.
Yeah, I don't have no cars, but thank you. 2 tickets because I want y'all to bring somebody.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, and those events are $15, but you got free drinks and food, and you don't have to eat after
I ain't
7.
drinking
Yeah.
alcohol.
You need a chef to come bring some food.
We gonna
in?
talk. We gonna
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah, because I
We
need
gonna
your
talk.
information too.
All right.
Nah.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, just all I say is go to the local theaters, or find the theater, check out Quest the movie, Quest the documentary, or you can support the guys by going to EverQuest Recordings/Facebook and just like the page. You know, follow the guys, see what they're doing. You can always see what the guys are doing in the studio.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
I want to thank Michael A. Griffin for calling in from Colorado. He was on the ski slopes. And I want to thank Sabir, also Yanina Carter.